Hi there, it's Rick Koleta, your host from the GTM Vault podcast. And in this episode, we bring you Dmitry Stavisky, a seasoned full-stack startup advisor with extensive experience in building and scaling tech companies internationally. Dmitry shares his journey from climate modeling and coding to leading product development at unicorn startups. He also discusses how AI is reshaping product development, the challenges and opportunities it presents, and what the future holds as AI goes mainstream. Additionally, Dmitry offers insights into his advisory services for companies post-Series A on international expansion and early-stage startup founders. Tune in for a deep dive into AI's impact on product development and marketing. Dmitry, thanks so much for joining us today.
Rick, thank you for the invitation and for the kind neutral. Good to see you starting the Substack and now the podcast. Yeah, we've met before the Substack, or before your Substack at the GTM Night back in December. It was a good event.
Glad to hear. Yeah, it was a pleasure hosting the event, and thanks again for being our speaker. Now, I want to get right into it, Dmitry. With your extensive background in building and scaling tech companies, how have you seen the landscape of digital product development change over the last decade? And what do you think are the most significant differences between developing digital products in the past decade compared to now?
All right. Well, this is what happens when you grow great. You get asked about the last decade. Okay, let's recollect what the industry was like in 2014. Look it up. 2014, Apple launched iPhone 6 with the larger screen, Apple Watch, and Apple Pay. Microsoft launched Windows 10. Remember that? That's interesting. Amazon launched Amazon Echo with Alexa. That's what the majors were doing. Things were changing greatly, and then suddenly these were ancient times. So what happens since? I think that from the user perspective, the biggest change was high expectations for UX, performance and aesthetics for product designers. It meant greater emphasis in design thinking. We fully switched to mobile first. It wasn't the case 10 years ago. Product teams got into the good habit of continuous customer engagement. Again, this is like, it's hard to believe, but it wasn't a common practice 50 years ago. We are much more reliant on data analytics and A/B testing. All that intuition on the product sense, that's the very like data or alternative analysis became a norm. It's a big deal. In technical terms, shifted to computing. It was just starting 10 years ago. Now it's there. The whole API ecosystem flourished. These were all good things. Now, not so good things. 2014, you could get much more traction of app stores. The last 10 years, app stores got much more crowded for paid user acquisition. That meant higher customers. It's much harder today to get from the noise. What else? Continuous integration, continuous CI/CD pipeline became a norm. DevOps became a profession and standard practice. Regulation is much more serious these days, starting with GDPR and then Californian CCPA, which affects basically everyone. Now, that was the gradual change. In 2017, a bunch of people as Google published that paper, attention is all you need, basically suggesting the transformer architecture for machine learning. And that's when things started to accelerate. So over the last, I would say, 2-3 years, it was all about ML. This is endlessly disruptive, and this is the major change, which is still happening. Well, the context also has changed. The silver lining of the whole COVID tragedy was transitioning to remote and hybrid work. Well, this is a change for product teams, but this is also a change for the customers. So it's a big deal. And then, well, like the whole macroeconomics and geopolitics, real life economy is back. People are using robots. We are reindustrializing. People got serious about defense tech. Yes, and that's it. How is that for the 10 years?
That's great. That's a lot.
It was a busy decade.
Totally. And when you look at how AI is changing the way we build digital products, can you talk to us a little bit about that, Dmitry? And you know, if you want to share some specific examples from your experience building companies like Edwin or Buddy.ai or even Evernote.
Yeah, sure. So this transformation is still in progress and it's happening very fast. Our conversation will be on this topic, at least, like we'll have only historic interest in 3 months. But like for now, here's what I see. There are 2 aspects to that. How AI/ML affects internal processes and the tools, like compile time, and how does it affect product functionality and user experience, runtime. So on product functionality, this means return of the conversational interfaces. Actually, remember 2014 was the year when Amazon launched Alexa. That was the first attempt to transition from buttons, Windows, and ICE conversational interfaces. It was premature. The underlying technology couldn't support. So now it does. So you asked about Edwin. We started in 2016, and we were building AI tutor of English as a foreign language. And the hardest language still learn, teach, is speaking. So we were very excited about Alexa and about Google Home Assistant, and tried to build conversational exercises on that stack. We built it, it worked, that got us some interest and investment from Google, but it was very expensive to produce content for these exercises. So it was 2018. 2000, fast forward, Buddy.ai, this is the company that Edwin merged with. Buddy.ai is also English as a foreign language, some early childhood education for young kids. For them, building conversational exercises much easier and much more practical. Evernote. Evernote is this external memory, your external brain, note-taking app, which started in 2014. It was a pretty mature technology and product. We had search, we had grammar, pretty complicated, so they were ninjas, but not searches. Today, a new team at Evernote built an ML interface. Basically, what it looks what you would extract from a ball sitting on top of your driver's nose collection, and I am sure that it took them less effort than it took us to develop that grammar-based powerful search. Now, some of that runs in the cloud, but much of the conversational functionality actually can happen on the device. So Buddy is getting at mostly on the device, like for a number of reasons. So it's pretty amazing that you are running speech recognition and speech synthesis and actual conversational part, smartphones and tablets. Another example, it's a company that they extract knowledge from conference calls and one-on-one calls. For me, the killer feature of tactic is summarization. So people do transcripts of their calls and very rarely visit them. Now, with tactic summarization, you get very high quality bullet points summary of your call. Again, this is something that was all but impossible 10 years ago. So anyway, this is what users see. Internally, people use AI compiles to write code. People use them to create content, product content, like Buddy does, and the marketing could be. Product teams use tools like Tactic to create artifacts, meeting notes, brainstorming sessions, stuff like that. Market research, ChatGPT is a great tool to people for market research or any research. People use it as a brainstorming.
Right.
LLMs are pretty good. Well, LLMs based on pattern recognition, so it's a great tool for behavior patterns.
Yeah, it sounds like the acceleration, the adoption is accelerating. What do you
Yeah.
think will happen as AI becomes more mainstream in product development?
Yeah. So this is something that all of us are trying to figure out. Yeah, I have my theory, but I have to preamble it with the point that what we'll be talking about assumes that AGI doesn't soon, artificial general intelligence, because if it does, it's a totally different world. We are into what Wolfgang calls solved world of abundance and leisure. But I personally think that we are further ahead, further away from that. If I can take this into consideration. Planning. So I think we'll see continuation of the existing trends. Same, but more, better, and more wise. Why? I suspect that me and probably you are in a bubble.
Totally.
Bay Area. So these internal processes and tools that product teams are using that I was thinking about, I'm not sure that this is the case everywhere. It's a standard practice here, but it's spreading pretty quickly, actually amazingly quickly, but the process of the tools is still. I think there will be a big change in how we write code and how we develop software. There is this semi-joke that the hottest programming language today is English, and there is a lot of truth to it. With ChatGPT and copilots and tools like that, you code in English. A product manager who can think structurally and is good at communicating can do a lot of work that used to require developers, which is very, very enabling. It could be the time for humanities majors to shine. Because I don't want to be stereotypical, but from my observation, people age pieces are better communicators than STEM people. We will learn. This will probably result in smaller teams being super productive. Again, just be like it's an enabler. This mythical 10x developer will become 100x co-developer for experienced engineers. This will mean faster development cycles. This will mean much higher revenue per employee. It's not a common metric, but I kind of like it. How much revenue your team produces. Tooling is obviously changing. I think we are at the very beginning of unbundling of enterprise software. So today, a lot of ERP, CRM, whatever systems have a lot of okay functionality, and now startups come in, we are hungry and they're fast, and they develop much better solutions for vertical slices. Solutions, pattern and hints are examples.
Do you see any factors influencing the rate of adoption here to accelerate AI's mainstream adoption?
Geographical and mental distance from Silicon Valley, Greater Bay Area in China, Station 42 in Paris is probably the biggest.
Got it. Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, that's where the builders are located.
Yeah, I think we are at this stage when word of mouth and podcasts that you listen to matter how quickly narrations. But again, this time adoption In my view, this is a disruption comparable to internet at the end of last millennium. I think 192000. So it's a similar scale of disruption, but this time it's happening much, much faster. In part because the hardware is already in place, right? People have devices that can run.
Right. And when this does gain mainstream adoption, what challenges do you foresee emerging for product developers and engineers?
Yeah, so I think the main constraint is still the functionality of the frontier models. Every major release of GPT is an extinction event for tens, if not hundreds of people, startups, because the functionality gets subsumed by the generic model. But many tasks that people are trying to do are still challenging. But that's the frontier is moving very fast. Handling this rate of scale is a challenge. Much of this functionality is moving to the edge from the cloud, and that's very beneficial for the product economics. So that's helping. Compute capacity is still a constraint, like all the insanity of NVIDIA chips in general. And then access to data. This is becoming a limiting factor. Resolution of intellectual property rights issues that is fair and doesn't create extra friction is a big deal for the industry, I think.
And as companies get smaller, Dmitry, as you were alluding to, that you don't need as many people as engineers upskill and increase their capacity. In your opinion, what should engineers, product developers, or even marketers, for that matter, focus on to develop their skills and stay relevant in an AI-driven landscape where companies just don't need as many people as they used to?
ML is that proverbial bicycle for the mind. You really want to know how to ride this bicycle. So understanding of ML fundamentals is super beneficial. You're technical. If you're technical, it's a must. If you are not technical, this will make you. If it will give you a context, what is going on, that's a big deal. Communication skills, right? We are now talking to AI, right? We are talking to Copilot, we're talking to ChatGPT. Historically, it was not a forte for many technical people. When learning, it's worth learning. There is a lot of excitement about prompting, chatbot, AI chatbots. It's evolving with models, so the skills that you develop in prompting become obsolete very quickly, but it's still worth doing because it makes you productive right now, and you make it easier for you to learn on the next turn of this spiral. Yeah, and of course, it's worth keeping an eye on these new tools as they come out. Now, the basics for the product people don't change. Customer feedback is still all important. Ability to absorb it and iterate is distribution is still the danger of overestimating technology and underestimating distribution. Still there. Yeah, I think that's what I would be thinking about. Somewhat less on the skill side, it's more about things to worry about. AI is a human amplifier, so it will, among other things, it will amplify bad actors, and it's responsibility of the product teams to prevent that. And it's easy. And I'm talking about AGI, so super intelligence alignment. I'm talking about the tool that you develop as an application, being used for nefarious purposes. That's responsibility.
Yeah, it really sounds like we're gliding into a brave new world. Dmitry, can you share more about your advisory services for startups and post-Series A companies on international expansion, including getting global ready and selecting the next market?
Yeah, this is the knowledge that I developed first at Evernote and then other ventures. It's how to launch new markets. Basically, I'm helping teams that have proven themselves in the domestic market and want to increase their user base, their customer base, launch new geographies. This involves everything from selecting new markets, getting global ready internally, tooling processes, localizing everything, changing your analytics, to hiring people if you need to in the new markets, coming up with go-to-market strategy and launching. These are usually pretty involving products. Yeah, sometimes it's hands-off, sometimes OPCs help the team and then transition out. And this is a pretty high ROI activity for that. Basically, companies are leveraging the investment. So it's marketing over larger addressable market.
Can you talk us through a little bit about your process? I know you have that great blog post on your Substack about exploring new market opportunities or defining a product and positioning.
How many days do we have? But so the process always starts with company leadership. At some point, they decide to revisit it. I think the right way to do it is to ask a question, well, are we ready and is it worth our focus? I think that stage, it's still super important for companies to prioritize focus. So I like getting engaged at this early stage and helping company review where they are and size the opportunity. There are several aspects to it. Okay, how big is the opportunity? How hard is it? And how much, and are we ready? And then they, of course, they have to weight it against other opportunities, priorities. Well, next step is to choose your market. Okay, yeah, we want to do that. Where do we start? In most cases, you don't want to start on several markets. But just at the very beginning, if you're going to a new geography for the first time, it's much better to focus on one market just to tune your processes. It's your learning exercise. Maybe in the future you'll parallelize it and start launching several. Well, for start, you do research. You look among other things. You look at competition. The problem we are solving doesn't even exist in that new market. Sometimes it doesn't. Okay, it does exist. So how are people solving this problem now? Are they using some other approach or are there some local competitors? If you get a check mark on this one, then you turn your side inward and review your readiness. And becoming global already actually is very disruptive for the companies because it affects all company functions. Yeah, first thing that comes to mind is localization of user interface. It's more than that. So let's say that you're using AI. Hey, does the model that you are sitting on top support the language you're targeting? Yeah, and then finance needs to learn how to deal with foreign currency. Legal needs to learn how to operate in this new regulatory environment and jurisdiction. QA, they need to learn how to do localization quality assurance. Analytics, most companies have to do pretty major refactoring project, adding two new dimensions to the analytics database, country and language, and so on and so on and so on. So you do all of that in parallel. You work on your go-to-market strategy. I advise people to start by reviewing their 0 to 1. How did they go from 0 to 1 in the domestic market? Is this approach applicable to new market? In most cases it is, but you augment it to new realities. And in general, every new market, they have to think about every new market as this back to 0 to 1 stage with all the risks attention. Okay, you come up with GTM, you have your ducks in a row, That's your execute.
One last question I have, Dmitry, is there a specific market that U.S. based companies should enter, after dominating the U.S. market and evaluating where, is it like South America, Europe, or is it really based on the use case?
It's different for different companies. There is no single recipe. Size of the market is super important. The biggest one is China, but for many companies, China is off limits for different reasons. Sometimes China is no hit. Sometimes you don't want to go yourself. Sometimes the US government won't let you in. Sometimes the competition won't let you in. Latin America, it's in our hemisphere. Brazil is the biggest one. Yeah, Spanish-speaking Latin America is like big, but it's not a single market. Europe has very high purchasing power, but again, this EU is a bunch of markets. Japan is a great market, but it has a very, very developed local ecosystem that not very little about, and they have very high quality standards, so it's not an easy market to get into. Same with South Korea. Basically, it's different for every.
Got it. Well, thanks so much, Dmitry. Really appreciate the insights. To learn more about Dmitry Stavisky and his innovative approach to AI, startup advising, and international expansion, visit his profile on intro.co/Dmitry Stavisky or follow his blog on world.substack.com. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Rick. It was fun.